Hey, everybody, welcome in. This week I wanted to talk a little bit about journaling as soul work. Um, I think a lot of times when people hear soul work, you might think it's some big metaphysical heavy thing, but in all reality, I feel like it's a way of coming home to yourself. The true self, your real self. That self that's not hiding anything. There's no bullshit, there's no faking. It's just you, really you, and what matters to you most and what you want to be filling your life with. So this journal, this kind of soul journaling is a way to get there. So I always think of it in two kind of ends, with the front end and the back end. And the front end of soul journaling has a lot to do with connecting to that voice inside that speaks only the truth. So a lot of the prompts that I've done in the previous few months are all about that. They're all about kind of digging in a little bit deeper and seeing what's really you and maybe what's not so much you, maybe what is expected of you or what others want of you or what you think is appropriate or what the culture approves of. This is the sorting. This is the sorting through the things that matter to you and are really reflect the true essence of you versus the things that you're just doing to get through the day. And this voice ends up being incredibly important because it leads you exactly where you need to be. And I think a lot of us get off track, and it's because we're trying to be something we're not. And soul journaling is all about being who you really are and learning to decipher that voice. So, all the prompts, all these things that we've been working on are just a way to do some digging and get you to recognize that voice that truly speaks what you want, what sets your heart on fire, what makes your life feel purposeful. And really get acquainted with that in all the areas of your life, not just when you're journaling, but when you're out there grocery shopping, when you're at work. You can distinguish between what's really going on and all the layers of ego or diversion that go over the top of it. So that's the front end, getting down to the heart of who you really are. The second, the back end of soul journaling, has more to do with picking up those threads that come up and weaving them into the rest of your life. So, Marie Louise von Franz was one of Carl Jung's most noted students who became, a therapist in her own right. And she has this great quote that has really stuck with me. She said her analyses would come in and they would have a major breakthrough. Like the heavens parted and they got it. They figured it out. They were like, this is it. This is what's been bothering me. This is how I can fix it. I got it. I figured it out. And then they'd walk out and they'd completely forget it. And this is really how it goes in all of our lives because we have an insight, we have a clarity, and then we just forget about it. I'm very alert in the morning. That's my time. I'm wide awake, and it's when I feel most like myself. And then as the day goes on and I start doing stuff, that kind of, ebbs away. So I think this is probably the most crucial part of this kind of journaling is picking up those threads that are really you, what really matters to you, and then building them into the rest of your days. I'm a reader. I love to read. Sometimes when I get really busy, that goes on the back burner. I like to read people who know more than I do because it inspires me and it gets me thinking in different ways. So I try to build in at least reading 10 pages every day to just kind of keep that thread going, keep my mind working, keep thinking, kind of pushing past my comfort zone. And that is that's not monumental. It's just a really simple way to build in what matters to you in your day to day life. And this is how our lives change. I don't think of this as a manifestation journaling kind of thing, but in all reality, it is. Because once we know what we want, once we know what matters, we start putting our attention on that. We start building it into our lives can't help but shift around. So, to me, I feel like this kind of journaling is just absolutely indispensable to figuring out who you are and collecting yourself and bringing more of what you love into your life and really shifting that quality of your life. So this week, just kind of maybe do a little digging into where you feel what is really you and what's not you. You know, the things that you do, you can even do like 2 lists, you know, of what is really matters to you and what really doesn't, what you just have to do, and kind of just see where it lines up. Because once you start looking at that, it'll point you in new directions that you could go, new directions, new ways of thinking. So play and see what's up, what's really you, what's not quite you, and see where it leads you.